Hi guys, Dave in Texas here, and what you're looking at is a very juicy Gibson Titan combo. Man, is this thing sweet. It's had to be sitting in a closet or, you know, with something draped over just for, you know, ever. Alright, I'm talking about 69, 68, in that era, I think. The work on it is just perfect. The logo, it's just dirty. It needs to be kind of cleaned up, you know, not scrubbed and not you know, taking the stains off. Just get the dirt off of it. It's got a lot of dirt on the chassis as well, and inside as well. Got to sweep that out and use some compressed air to get it off in a brush. You'll see me do that later, but if you'll look, you can see a ton of dirt in here. Okay, I mean, it's thick and it's hard on there. It's going to have to come off, so there's to it. And it's on just about everything in this thing. And it's, like I said, it's thick. I'm scratching that off my finger now, off this part here. See that? Jeez. Even worse over here, it's kind of like inches deep. And it is caked on there, my friends. Now, one thing that really concerns me is I see some burnt stuff, alright? But the owner told me that he was playing this before. He'd been playing it. Now, how I was playing, I had no idea. I'm not turned it on as yet. And of course, you know how I do that. I stick it up to my variac and run the very low voltage through it at first. But there is a problem here. It does have a two-prong cord that's got to go. You know how I work on that. See, two-prong cord, death cap, kill people, and he's got young kids. So I think that's the original speaker on. It's a 67 speaker, so let's be 67. That's about right. 67, 69. So when that range Titan was being made, these are nice little amps. You know, nothing really special. They were competing with Fender, and they're, you know, small to medium range. But you know, nice. So let's see, 110/25, 60 cycle. We're talking about model GA14, right? And Kalamazoo, Michigan. All right, so all the knobs are all original, and they're not shrunk. You know, they're not cracked or degraded. But first things first, you know, guys. I'll put this on the variac, turn that on, see what kind of issues we have, any burns, any smokes, and go from there. But we're going to try to keep this inexpensive for him. And one of their services we're offering right now are free testing of his tubes. So we're going to take those out, test those, and see how they stack up to, you know, how long they're lasting, right? We have that ability to give a good scientific estimate of how long they'll be good. Alright, what I'm doing now, the little Gibson, I'm taking this big, very soft brush, right, with nylon, and I'm going through here and I'm brushing as much dirt out of here as I can, and you know, not damaging any parts while I'm at it. I'll get all that surface dust and dirt out that I can. And I think I may see a problem. Of course, it may not, but something's leaked. I can see that in there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but down here next to that rivet hole where the pin was, something's leaked either around it or above it. I got some bad pins here. I'm already starting to see some issues with this thing, damn it. Okay. So, it's not the dream amp that he was thinking, because internally he got some problems. Not too big ones. You're going to replace, you know, sockets, tube sockets, if those connectors are broken. Just more work. But I'll have to check that out, make sure it's still got continuity to that particular spot. If not, I'll go in there and start desoldering a few things and come back and check again, you know, just to be sure, and then see what goes on. I don't want to replace anything I don't have to replace. You know, the whole key word on this amp is keep it cheap. You know, fix it, but keep it cheap. As well as the transformer back here, this little unit here, that's got the wrong screw in it. Okay, you see that? Get more light on it. That's the wrong screw. That's in the way. All right, let's get the cord out of the way. I mean, this is the wrong screw on here. Trying to hold this transformer's other side. It's output, right? Can you see it now? Probably not still. But anyway, it's a huge, long thing. And what I'm concerned about is hoping it punched through and hit that big capacitor in there. But it's hanging loose right now, as if they kind of like, well, oops, we're not going further. Of course, that could be what's leaking in there, you know, for all I know. But there's something leaking in there. On that floor, I see a large amount of goo. Up top, I don't see any problems at all. That's pretty much pristine clean. That's good. And I don't see anything from the big cap that's leaking out. Of course, I'm wondering, did they, well, that's just pretty much tightened down with that collar right there they got on there. Can you see this? This collar? They got that mounted and screwed down and held in place by a collar they've made that is attached to the chassis body, the floor of it. But if you look, there's a big buildup of crud right here. This little spot right here. Gosh, it's hard to see in the camera and everything. Hold on. Alright. Let me get my pointer out so my finger's not in the way. Okay, so, and I also can remove some of that crud. So you can look and see in the camera. Zoom in a bit. It's right here, and I can't see it. Okay, hold on. Okay, it's right here. Okay, and it's kind of, what it looks to me is like it's hot milk going astray, you know, or wax. That's what it looks like, wax from a capacitor. See that just came out of there on my finger there? You see this? It's kind of earwax, you know. It's like, ew. But something in there has leaked and formed down there, so I have to check it out. The only I think of that's in that vicinity is this large capacitor, right, which is not going to be cheap to replace if that's the problem. So I'll get in there and test that here pretty quickly. And of course, as I find these little things, I let the owner know, so he's not, you know, all of a sudden I hit him with like a dozen different screw-ups going on with this thing. But also, you know, don't tell him every damn little thing happens one at a time. I kind of wait till I get like a group of them to discuss it with him, see what he wants to do. Because like I said, money is a big issue on this little amplifier. But I think now he's realized the value of this thing is so high. Look at that big wad of crud in there. Alright? The value of this thing is so high that he's not afraid so much about it, you know, about trying to get it fixed. And yes, it's a very valuable little amp, and it's very rare too. Now, let me explain to you how I explained it to him, that rarity. Alright, this thing was made between 69 and 53, somewhere in that range that I read. Alright, well, talk to the owner and explain to him about cleaning this thing up a little bit. And all I'm going to do is remove about 40 years worth of surface dirt off the faceplate of the chassis. Make it look a little nicer. Now it won't take any, aging off. It just takes the dirt off. You'll see this there in a second. So off the light. It's on there pretty thick. Okay. Like I said, I'm just taking off the dirt that's on it, not the aging. See that brown stuff on there? That's dirt. Okay. That's kind of dirt mixed in with some rust. I'm going right through here. Now, that it's aluminum, steel, what the hell is this? Let's check it. Anyway, the steel that they bent, I think they put a little bit of a finish on it. Kind of like a, oh, I don't know. Like a mesh type of finish or some type of finish. It's got paint all over it too. I'll take these knobs off to get all this crud off here, but I'm just trying to clean this dirt off and then caked on muck. Alright? So I'm not trying to change anything on it, just clean the dirt off. It does have that kind of faux finish to it, or I think really what it is, that's just years of dirt and exposure. This like patina, where that is on there, what do you call that? Some type of finish maybe, because it's not, it's exposed and this part's not. Maybe they finish this out with some sandblasting or something. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. Take it apart. Get all these parts out, clean them up, make them last another 50 years. That's what we want to do. That's what everybody wants to do with these old amps. Make them last another 50 years so they can play it. Have a great time saying, look at my old amp. I preserve some history. Okay? Let's try to do a side-by-side comparison. The one on the far end, I went ahead and cleaned it up. This one right here, compared to this one, sorry. Zoom in and get a better idea what they look like clean. That's how shiny that is. I don't think that is Bakelite, stuff they used to use instead of plastic. I think that is plastic. But now you can kind of see the difference. One cleaned up, one not cleaned up. Okay, that's all I'm doing to this. I'm not going to dramatically change anything on it. Just clean the dirt off. Okay guys, so the first thing I've done to this amp, any type of work, I got rid of a long wood screw that was in it, right, and put down a little temporary just to hold that in place for a while. Alright, you see how this thing's poking through here? That's got to be wrong. The same thing was done on this right here. Where's my finger? Right there. And that's just bad news, because underneath here is a large capacitor, very expensive, that if it had been put all the way through, would poke a hole in that capacitor and cause a lot of problems. Now, also, I got to figure out why the hell he did this. That's just bad news too. It's a strap that's inside the chassis itself, and it's like a secondary that's holding this down. Well, it's actually it's primary. It's a primary, and what it should be is going the exact opposite direction with a nut and bolt. Okay, instead of a wood screw that poked through, or a metal screw poking through the top of this to cause havoc with the wires here, right? So once I get a chance, I'll put a nut and bolt on there and get that settled and make it much better, right? And figure out what all this is all about, okay? And I've not found the schematics on the website yet, but I will. I'm sure I will. This is just too important and popular a amplifier not to be on the website. And now what I've done, I've gone through the amplifier, and before power up, I located and listed the main problems with this amplifier. Okay, that I can see immediately and know that I'm going to have to work on. I just showed you 2 of them. It's going to need a new 3-prong cord, right? You follow me? Okay. It's fuse holder needs to be cleaned up and worked on. It's a resistor board that you're looking at. Well, shoot, this light. This resistor board is just corroded as hell up here, and a lot of these resistors are gone bad. I gotta replace those. And the wiring down here is also corroded and very subject to just all kinds of problems. And there's some ground wires here that have no idea why they did it this way. They grounded this particular socket, this 12A7, just loosely, just the wires hanging out there. That's just insane. I mean, look at this. I mean, ground it, yes, by all means, ground it, but not just toss a wire out there and just have it hang in space. Like, damn, whose idea was that? Okay. I put a new bulb in it already because it is burned out. This main capacitor, I've not checked it yet under power. I will have to check it under power, make sure it's still working. The transformer is coming apart on me by piece, and I will rewrap that with some copper. Okay. I will be taking this resistor board down and working on it, cleaning it up, replacing what I need to replace, getting in there at the caps there behind there, testing those better. Yes, there's a lot more work, but it's got to be done, and I can't do it as it is, so I have to take that down. These caps here, I'll have to replace those. Those are burnt, okay, or not working very well. Let me check my notes. They're not working very well. Clean this thing inside and out and resolder all the cold spots that are on here. And I've got 2 sockets that have gone bad, and the pins are falling out of the damn thing. It's like, wow, how is this thing still playing? I have no idea. Of course, I'm taking the owner's word for it. They played it, right? Oh, I'm sorry. And also take out the depth capacitor and fix that up so that's no longer there. You know, wired to the chassis, which is insane, but that's what he used to do it. Anyway, I'm taking the word of the owner that he played it, and it was playing when he brought it over here. But there's a lot of things wrong with this little amplifier that need to be fixed. Now, with the exception of this capacitor here, right? Everything in here to replace is cheap. We're looking at less than 80 bucks. Okay? He does need to replace some tubes on here. The main power tubes are shot. One's got shorts in it. One's got life expectancy of it near 0. The other one is good, but if you're going to replace 2 of them, I might replace them all 3 and have them all matched. But so far, we're looking at about anywhere from 140 to 210 to fix this little guitar amp. Just recently I found out the top grade one went for $2,000, and it was nowhere near as nice as this one on the outside. The outside of this thing is just in perfect condition. It's beautiful. The inside, it lacks a lot, okay? And it does need to be worked on. So I'll be working on that, trying to get it all straightened up and back in working condition for the guy, and replace what needs to be replaced, and letting him know it's going to cost him around $210, $250 to fix this all up and get it back running the way it should run. Okay, so hang in there, guys, and see what he decides to do. Oh yeah, I'm going to do a 60 volt power test on this, just for see if I can reform some caps in here. But I know it's not going to happen. Those aren't going to hold up. This main one may do some more help for it. But the thing is, I'm going to run it up in power at 60 volts, keep it there for a little bit, and see what kind of results I get. Make sure I don't get any smoking or burning on it, because it looks like it's ready to burn. And see what takes place after that. So I got some caps in here. Looks like they're leaking already. These 2 I'm going to replace. So, main thing is just be real careful with it. I've not changed out the cord yet, but if it pops that fuse, I will know it, and we'll do that the very next thing after we do a power test on it, so we get any sound out of it. So hang in there while I put it back in its chassis, or sort of put it back in its cab, and mount the speakers back up to do a power test on this. Alright, so the first thing I did before I put it back in the chassis, the cab, I went ahead and cleaned up the chassis, got all the dirt, all the lint, all the dust I could get out of it, so that we wouldn't have a fire issue in case it started smoking or got overheated or anything else when I put it to the variac. And that was, a main concern are these caps right here. And I'll leave this open and not cover it up so I can watch these. And thanks, Kiwi. Keep up the camera. Anyway, so I can watch these and keep the camera on it so you can see what's going on as well as I see, and see if there's any issues back there that need to be, brought to my attention. But I put a new fuse in it, the exact value that it calls for, and it did have the correct value in it for the fuse. It was not overfused. I just put a new one in there, just make sure there's no problems with that. And I put the original tubes back in their original. Hold on, Kiwi. I put the original tubes back in their original spots. Okay, because the owner said it did play. So we're going to check it out and see what kind of noise we get out of it. And since the camera we focus at its back, we're also going to get a chance to see what takes place as far as the electrics on it without the back baffle on it. Yeah, Kiwi, I know. Gotta get that done. Yes. Gotta check it out. So, hang in there, guys, while I plug this into the variac and do some testing. Okay, guys, what I'm going to do is turn the amp on. It's got 0 volts to it, so you won't see anything take place yet until I turn the variac on. Okay? So, camera's running. Let's give it a test and see what happens. Alright? With 0 volts, of course, you're not getting any lights or anything on it. I can't see my little dial. I just want to run this up to 60. Right now, let's see what happens, okay? So we're getting light from a little crystal, alright, that's happening. We're not getting anything from the tubes, which I don't want that touching that tube, damn it. Alright, still don't want that close, there, that's better. Okay. So we're getting no sound from it whatsoever at 60, that's not good. We should get something from it. Now I've got the volumes turned on 3. Alright, I hear no hum, I hear no nothing. So I turn them up to 6. Now I turn the wattage up just a little bit more. Go up to 85, 90. Let's see if we get any sound out of this thing. Alright, still warming up. No hum, no nothing. I know I got the guitar turned all the way up. No hum, no nothing. That's not a good sign. But again, we got one of the power tubes that's bad. We found that out the hard way. And to test it. Okay? Light's on full blast now, guys. You can see it's glowing. But we're still not getting any tone out of the guitar. No amp. The tubes are starting to warm up. You can see those. Except for the one power tube, it's not worth doing anything because it's shot. Alright, now, I don't see how he got any tone out of this, but maybe it went bad after he played it. Okay? Alright, and what we're going to do is try some other channel. Alright, let's try number 2. See if we get anything. Nothing. those aren't heating up at 90. That's not good, guys. That's not good at all. 90 volts, nothing. Let's try another channel. That's it, guys. It's all plugged in. Everything's running like it should run. There's my little dial. Alright, now it's at 110. And we're getting no warm. Now we're getting warm up from the AX7s. Now we're getting the warm up. Okay? You can see it's just barely. And that's at 100. Okay? Still no tune, no tone, no nothing. Volumes are all the way up. Tones on the middle. On the first plug, which should be, that's the main plug, should work. Nothing. Alright guys, well, one of the power tubes is down, and I gotta get those replaced in here before I do any more tests on it, but that's pretty much it. So let's kill the power to it right now. And you can turn that back on, please. And what we'll do is order that power tube in, the tubes he wants replaced. A quick check in there. Nothing's hot, nothing's smoking, so that's a good, sign at least. I thought that big cap would be smoking by now, but I'll go in there and see if those other caps receive any more value to them from being on that short time at 100 volts. Okay, so what I'm doing, guys, I'm switching the main power tubes around, see if that'll help any. I kind of doubt it, but I'll take the variac back down again before I do anything, back down to 60. So I'll put that back on again. Okay. And I'm going to turn the amp back on again, right? And then turn the variac on. See if I get anything out of it. Now, the variac's on, it's on power, it's drawing exactly what it should draw on it, it's not overly spiking on me. Okay? Volume's all the way up on it. Checking the plug on the guitar, checking the volumes on the guitar, it's fine. Okay guys, the one thing I can say is this amp is fried. I'll take it up to 90 where it was before when it started to warm up those 12 AX7s. Give them a chance to warm up some. This time we'll give it more time and see if that doesn't help any. If not, we'll just go from there and just wait. But I see no smoking, that's the main thing, I see no smoking. Of course, I never ever plug them into a 110-15 wall socket. That's just plain stupid dangerous. You can see the light on it's working fine. The new bulb I put in there, it's working fine. No smoking whatsoever. There is heat coming off the tubes. One of the power tubes is not working. Two of them are not working, so I got a bad socket there. See that one on the right? That socket is not working, so there's a problem. I don't see how this thing played for this guy. And I got the two 12AX7s working, they're glowing. I've got no tone. So maybe the socket went bad when we brought it here, maybe cleaning it up caused something to finally fail on it, right? Maybe those caps finally just gave out. But pretty much, guys, this is a dead amp until I can actually get in there and do some switches and changes. Okay? So, hang in there. That's the last time I can test this until we get parts in there and tubes and some fixing done. Okay, guys, what we're looking at is a Gibson Titan G14. It was not a very popular amp. There's a copy of a Lancer earlier design. But it was cheap. And I just got through removing the death cap. Okie dokie. And if I'm not mistaken, I'll have to check it out, but I think this death cap has been put into use. Let's just see, let's put on my cap tester and see what's going on with this thing. It's actually been used before in this circuit, which means that the fuse blew and Yes, it's totally useless. It's a dud. So this actually has been used before, and it's expanded and busted. It's totally useless. Now, let's see, try it one more time. 0.07, right? And I had to check that on that rating, but I think it's it's supposed to be a 0.47, not 07. But the Widowmaker and the wiring on this two-prong plug is dangerous, and we're switching it over to a three-prong plug, as you can see here, with a nice big ground, a real thick one. And we'll run that off the fuse, the on-off switch, the transformer, the light, and then back to the chassis on one of these little nuts here. We'll put a little loop on it and loosen this up and ground it to this spot right there, which makes it safe for the user. So if it pops next time, the fuse will pop, and that'll be the end of that. The amp will go off, right? On-off switch has got overheated as well. So there's a lot of little small damage to this amp that needs to be corrected and repaired, but it's not beyond repair. And the cost of it is not that tremendous. Mainly it's just pretty dirty right now. There's connections in here. But I will be replacing this. I will be putting a three-prong plug in. Several of the capacitors as well as the resistors, I think they warrant replacement due to their age and shape that they're in. And there's several caps back here. These little wafer caps that they have back here. Sorry guys. These wafer caps, they're back here on the board, on the circuit board back here in the back, need to be replaced. One's at a 0, and they're all 0.07s, but one's at a total 0, so it's shot to pieces. And for this amp to work, it's got to have that working too, okay? Which means taking this board off. It's not going to be easy because it's wired closely, I mean very closely, to these other other contacts in here, which means it's going to be hard to get behind and get that little cap out behind all these resistors and back of. That's never a good design, right? Because that also includes some heat issues, as well as this unknown this unknown resistor here. I really need to take that off, get that cover off that. It's a plastic sheath they put over to protect you because of heat, and find exactly what it's supposed to be, because I can't get a good reading off it with my cap meter. So we're going to check that out as well. So it should be fun. You can get this little 10-inch speaker Gibson running. The reason they're really interested in getting it running again, it's worth about $1,000 if it runs. Well, $1,000 or $1,400 if it's all original, which it's not. It's missing its original back. It's missing its original Gibson speaker, which causes the value to drop pretty quickly. 800 to 1,000 is about what they're going for when they're in this kind of shape. But when I say shape, outwardly it's in perfect shape. It's beautiful. The handle's beautiful. The body's beautiful. Everything on it's beautiful, except it's just missing a back and the correct speaker to it. So we're going to go in here and oh yeah, a couple of things real quickly. Instead of a 5Y3 in this particular space here, someone had thought, well, what the heck, let's put all 6 V6s in, since we're going to sell and get rid of it anyway. Let it play for a while and let crap out. So I went and got 5Y3 once I figured it out. Now, one of the hardest things about this is this little lamp here is the damnedest thing for getting schematics on. They've got schematics, but they are so sparse they don't help a hell of a lot. I mean, here for example is a Titan schematic. Okay, you can count about 15 parts that are listed on this and their values. As you can see right here inside the amp, there's quite more than 15. And of course there's nomenclature on the outside telling you what they are, but I want to verify no one's modified this thing like they modified this, they modified this, they modified the wiring to it. They've done some modifications. I want to make sure everything back here in the on the board is all original, and I can't. They don't have original values on the schematics. Now a lot of times you'll have schematics that have replacement parts, and they'll give you a listing like this is R1, this is R10. It calls for a 0.02 resistor or whatever. And it's very simple, just pop it in, pop it out, and you're there. In this case, I can go by the values of the colors and just pray that they're actually the same ones that were in there. It looks like they were, from the dirt and the ground that are on them. I don't think they've ever been replaced. And going from this picture here, that is an original picture of one that's never been touched. It's all supposedly all original, no changes. You can see this little part here is the very same as this, but I still don't have a good value on this to know what to replace it with, because they don't look like they're in very good shape. And this one is covered with a sheath for heat reasons, I'm sure, but we'll have to figure that out. And this one has been replaced with 3-prong as well, and it's grounded in the same spot I'm going to ground, up here in that corner spot by the transistor lug. Okie dokie. Right here's where that ground's going to go, right there behind that nut. Same place I put this one. Of course, that's the best place to put it. Now, the transformer on the one of the pictures is in much better shape. All the cover is in still good shape. And what I might do is consider, well, I don't know. I think let's just leave it alone. It's best just to leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to get any worse than that, but I may consider putting some glue up on it, you know, and finishing it off that way, and try to get it look like as much as I can, like this one here. And you can see again, here's the two original capacitors that were in there for the values that they totaled to be. Here's the can capacitor that's in there now, that hopefully it's the right value. Of course, I can't tell from this picture either. And the original owner is long gone. They own this and show it for sale, and of course he has no idea what the heck, you know, was in there anyway, because he just said he sold it, doesn't work on them, just buys them and sells them, has his techs work on them. And sometimes getting information from techs is like pulling teeth. And one thing I do see is they went ahead and got some cap closures for these dust cap covers for the pots, which means to me there may be something about heat issues with these. And I see right here, this particular part here looks like you got some heat to it, but